Hello once again, you landscapers and gardeners of dead flowers, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. Unfortunately, and believe me, I'm getting just as sick of telling you this as you are of hearing it, today's episode is another one where the sound quality just isn't as good as it should be. It's part of the now infamous trilogy of catastrophic tech failure episodes that were all recorded on the same day, where the mics didn't work and instead the sound was recorded through the camera or something like that. The tech explained it in a much more technical way and I can't remember. However, the episode itself with the wonderful Kate Hammer is an absolute belting episode. She has some wonderful stories, so please listen if you can. If it doesn't annoy you, it's a lovely episode. And to try and make up for the bad sound quality in the last couple of episodes, we're going to put the third and final in the trilogy of catastrophic tech failure out earlier than expected. We're going to put that one out midweek so that we get this whole trilogy out of the way in 1 week. And that next one as well is an absolutely wonderful episode. So I really hope that you wouldn't let the terrible sound dissuade you from listening to these episodes. But once again, apologies from the whole team, and please enjoy this episode. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel a bit bored with your clothes? Like just the stuff you're wearing, it feels a bit lifeless, a bit drab, a bit uncharacterful? Well, I've got just the thing for you. Not only am I delighted to say that this week's episode is sponsored by the wonderful Don't Feed the Bears clothing, a wonderful independently run family business from Yorkshire, but they are also offering an exclusive 10% discount code for listeners and viewers of this podcast. All you have to do is go onto the wonderful don'tfeedthebears.co.uk website, pick out anything from all the hundreds of different things they have: hats, bags, jumpers, hoodies, you name it, they've got it. All wonderfully hand-printed, bear adjacent, colourful designs. And at the checkout, enter the discount code DEAD10. That's DEAD, D-E-A-D, and then the number 10, for your exclusive 10% off. I also want to add that sometimes people think that if you have a sponsor as a podcast, you really have to give them a good plug. That's not the case here. I've been wearing the clothes from Don't Feed the Bears for years, and in fact I approached them to see if they'd be interested in sponsoring this. That's how highly I rate them. I wanted to be able to wear their stuff all the time. And from one independent podcast to an independent company, help each other out. So do check them out, and thanks again for listening to Stop Watering Dead Flowers. One of my favourite singer-songwriters is Colin Hay. If you don't know who Colin Hay is, he used to be the lead singer of Australian band Men at Work.
Oh.
They sang Living in a Land Down Under. Yeah. He wrote it. He's written hundreds of just beautiful, beautiful songs. Another one of his famous songs that was used on Scrubs soundtrack was the Waiting for My Real Life to Begin. A lot of his songs you would recognise even if you didn't realise it was Colin Hay that wrote them. I've been to see him live 4 or 5 times. He's the person I've seen live the most. I think he's phenomenal. I admire him. I would go so far as to say I admire the man. I got to meet him a couple of times, thankfully, but the first time I was just very drunk, and it was during the Edinburgh Festival. He was up in the Gilded Balloon Loft Bar. I couldn't believe that he was there. Bizarrely, he was doing a show with like a band, a little funky band thing. Oh my God. And I said to Karen Corn, I was like, I'd love to meet Colin Hay if I ever get a chance. I didn't think that chance was going to come, but one night I was in the Loft Bar and I was very drunk, and I heard Karen saying, Chris, come over here. And I was so drunk that she was inviting me over to meet Colin Hay. And I couldn't believe it. And I went over and I was a bit lost for words with the alcohol. And I just kept saying, Colin Hay, and kind of going, hey, Colin Hay.
And getting louder.
As if I was being funny. And then he was looking at me really odd. And I think because I thought I was being playful and drunk and meeting a hero, I went, hey, does anyone ever say, Colin Hay, baby? And Karen Corn looked disgusted. Colin Hay just looked really confused. And I think about it all the time. But that's what this podcast is all about, I guess. So, welcome back to another episode of Stop watering the dead flowers. Stop laughing at my misery, Sean. Stop watering dead flowers.
Did you ever turn because sometimes when you acknowledge that in the conversation, you go, I'm being so weird, but I'm just such a big fan. Did you Never got to acknowledge it. Yeah, that's good.
The moment was then over before I had a chance, and I just thought, what was happening? I think actually my mate that was with me went, what was that?
Mm-hmm.
The only saving grace is not that he would remember, and I didn't try to remind him. I did get to meet him again about 5 or 6 years later, but this time I was just like, very nice to meet you, Colin. I'm a big fan. Subtle.
And you think that's a better interaction?
Well, I was so scarred from the first one.
You had to overcompensate and become the most boring man.
It would have been amazing if I was just been very nice to meet you, and if he'd went, hey, baby.
Or just,
Yeah. Horrendous. Anyway, on a cheerier note, I'm delighted to say we're joined this week by the wonderful Kate Hammer, a visitor initially to our fine shores, but now a wonderful resident, one of our own.
Not a permanent one. Not yet.
Not yet.
2.5 more years.
But we're going to be putting some questions to you in this podcast.
Good.
I've come at you actually in the guise of a willfully funny podcast, but this is actually an immigration.
I'm due a check-in in a couple of months, and I didn't know how they would do it. So
Sing the national anthem.
Oh,
Where was Colin Hayborn? Okay.
Australia.
No,
Or in a hospital, most likely.
He's Scottish, actually.
Is he?
Yeah, that's why I asked. I did steer you wrong.
He was with Men at Work.
Yeah,
He was in Men at Work. That's
left-
the most Australian man.
He left Scotland and he went all the way over to Australia when he was a young man.
How young?
And set up the band because he then actually sang it. You know, like Australia have like World Australia Day or something every year. And one year he was singing a huge concert that was full of the biggest Australian acts. And he tells the story on stage. I can't remember who it is that comes up to him. Someone that's very Australian. I don't know. Kylie Minogue came up to him and said, hey Colin, why don't you come up and sing that big song about the place you're not from? Because he was so famous for singing Living in a Land Down Under.
You love him.
He's wonderful.
Excuse me, Wes.
Wow, at
I'm
least
so
I didn't
allergic
burp at
to-
him. Oh my god.
Don't. Roscoe's gonna have a field day with this.
Barping on the podcast right at the start. I haven't even introduced you.
Do you know what? This is because I have a lemonade. Wow. And I shouldn't be having fizzy drinks.
This sounds like I had tried to apologise for my behaviour in front of comedy. This is because I've been having some fizzy alcopops. Baby! I really hope I didn't. I don't remember doing the noise, but I hope I didn't. I really hope I didn't do it.
Yeah, no, I think you did.
Kate Hammer, soon to be leaving the country. It is wonderful to have you here. What can we say as way of introduction? Comedian, improviser, writer, performer, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You were doing, recently as well, you were working on soap operas in script capacity.
Mm-hmm. They hate to be called that now, by the way.
They do?
The soap operas. Not all of them. I think EastEnders is...
Continuing drama.
There you go.
I forget.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's a continuing drama.
It does give it a little bit more gravitas.
I think like the soap opera aspect of it allows for like so much creativity and fun. That campness, that bit of like fun of like, your twin brother? Like, fuck, that's fun.
There's things that happen on soap operas that can only happen on a soap opera.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a continuing drama, then you might think that's a bit silly for that.
Yeah. So I think different ones, I think EastEnders is probably the most camp and takes itself more as a soap opera, but has a lot of great stories.
Harold Bishop could not have died and come back as many times as he did on a continuing drama.
Exactly.
A soap opera, he can do what he likes.
I'll just say, at River City, I tried to pitch people having twin brothers being played by the same actor.
Right.
And they laughed and laughed, and I said, no, but seriously. And they were like, Kate, you're so funny. And they didn't want to do that. Different show.
Would you say, of all the many strings in your bow, though, comedy at its heart? Is that your main passion, comedy, or do you like the fact that you just got a nice diverse range of different things?
I think it's the root of everything.
Yeah.
And no matter, which actually will link in with a story later, but I was part of the Jed Mercurio mentorship. That was a 1 year. He never did it again.
You ruined it for everybody.
I think he didn't love it. And but when I was explaining to my mentor on that, like everything I do, he was like, "No, I get it. It makes sense." Because I did feel like, do I have too many fingers in too many pots, kind of thing. Right. He's like, "No, it all like the stand-up feeds into the writing."
Quick aside, never heard someone say, "Do I have too many fingers and too many pots?"
Honey pots.
Wow, that must be a kind of North American Scottish. Too many fingers and too many pies. Fingers and pies?
Oh, yeah, maybe it's pies. No, I think it's a me thing. If you ever think it's more of a Canadian thing, assume that I'm just getting it wrong.
You.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think honey pots is also
works.
Yeah, I think Sean might be looking it up right now.
No, he's just...
he's texting.
He's already bored of your stories. Scott.
Wait, Scott one. My lips are already so dry again. Tell me if I just start bleeding out the side, would you? Thank you. Do you know once when I was in high school, I didn't realize before we a bunch of friends went out for dinner and I picked something at the side of my face that I didn't know, and then halfway through it was one of those restaurants that had paper on the table so you could draw with crayons, and we were all drawing each other, and someone drew me with a red line down the side of my face, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, because you have blood. And so no one told me. They just drew it on my face, and I had to go to the bathroom, and it was a line of dried blood down the side of my face, and I was like, this is, why are people afraid to say anything?
You need better friends.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm in touch with none of them now, so why do you think I moved country? But anyway, with the Jed Mercurio thing, and so the comedy is the root. Also, it's a bit funny because, not funny, haha, of course, but as most of my humor is, but it's because comedy is my visa. So I need to make money off comedy in order to stay in the country.
Right. Okay.
So when I'm genuine, I think this is in November is 2 years or 3 years. Who's playing music? Old timey music out there.
Folk upstairs.
Oh God!
I feel like it kind of suits the segment of the show.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I'm sure no one can hear, but in our heads.
We're going crazy. So I think in 6 months, someone will check in with me to see how much money I'm making.
Wow.
But I don't know what that means. I assume they just look at my taxes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. But it just means that I have to prioritize comedy.
Yeah.
Almost not as it is. I'm happy that that's the way, because I always wanted to do it and I love it. And I think it is feeds into everything else. But it's funny how it's not do you know when you get tired of doing gigs and then you go, you have to remind yourself, I get to do this.
Yes.
This is something I get to do. I'm choosing. I'm so lucky to do this. And then I go, this is something I get to, but I also must do it. I have to, otherwise I get deported. So there's an extra.
That's a big level of pressure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just a fun little, but it's funny. It's not pressure to do well. I don't have to do well. I just have to get paid. So.
Don't have to do well.
Yeah.
Just have to do it. Well, listen, I feel like certainly with the comedy aspects of your career in life, and even from some of the stories I've heard you tell about your upbringing, I feel like, don't take this the wrong way, you're perfectly suited for this podcast. I feel like you're going to have lots of wonderful, haunting moments to share with our listenership. Mm-hmm. Where shall we begin? Where we always begin, with a lovely childhood memory that just haunts you. What has sprung to mind when you've been thinking about this?
You're correct. There's a lot of things going on. But I would say a lot of the stories were about my brothers as well. So it's it was actually...
You're taking some more people down with you.
Well, in this one, it's about me, and because I tried to keep it with something that I said. But we grew up on a goat farm. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on.
That could be it.
Yeah. It's just at one point, I don't know why this memory is springing forward, but we had a dog named Texas who was a Shih Tzu poodle, or a Shih Poo, if you will. And one day he just came out of the We call it the bush. I know it sounds really sexual here. It's just a bit of forest. All right, guys. My dog leapt out of the bush and he was just holding an entire deer leg.
Wow.
Just a little guy, just dragging a whole deer leg. My mom was like, what the hell? And went to look, couldn't find anything. I don't know if he ripped it off a live deer. This little guy. But it's just the mysteries of being on a farm are quite beautiful. So the one I have chosen to talk about is so my dad, Brad, if you will.
Brad?
Yeah.
Is he?
He's the most dad name ever, isn't it?
Wow, you don't get a lot of Brads over here, and it seems like the kind of thing that's confined to TV shows.
Yeah.
Brad.
And then my mom, Kathy. Brad and Kathy. Like, just...
That's a sitcom.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Maybe not. Maybe a continuing drama. So, Dad, so we had a goat farm. Well, we had cows. Too much disease took too much of the herd. My dad decided to switch to goats.
Wow.
And
I feel like you're pitching 1883.
100%.
Okay.
One single shot. The barn goes into disrepair. New barn built. Filled with 200 goats. And one time we didn't, so you have to separate them, all the goats, because you have to have them, some milking, some pregnant, so they will be milked, so you have to kind of have this thing. And then all of a sudden my dad realized that all of the goats were pregnant, and he was like, what the hell is happening? And then he realized the ram was just jumping from having the time of his life, by the way. This guy was like 200 wives. Anyway, they're not married, that would be ridiculous. And so he decided to start his own goat dairy cooperative.
Of course.
I was really young. I felt very ostracized, othered, like I was the odd one out of my family.
Right.
For a lot of reasons, right? Probably because, I didn't know I had ADHD and different way of thinking. But also I had 3 older brothers.
Yeah.
And then me. So I was the youngest. I was the only girl. They didn't want to play with me. I didn't really want to play with what they were playing, which is just tractors on carpet. And you're like, God, why? Why are you working? I do not dream of work, So yeah, I was always trying to fit in and find a way to connect with my family.
Yeah.
Once a week we would have movie afternoons.
That's nice. Movie afternoon?
Yes.
Nice.
Because Saturday we would work, Sunday we would do the faster you do your chores, then we can stop. We get a single pop, one fizzy drink, if you will, per week.
Yeah.
On the Sunday afternoon when we watch our family movie.
Nice.
But because I was the youngest, I didn't really get a say in the family movie. So what I knew of movies was cartoon things for kids and then just action movies. Every movie was, Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne, every single time. So I didn't really, I got bored a lot, quite easily. One time I was trying to, understand what my dad did, and then was thinking of this during a movie, and so I think it was The Bourne Identity, these cars were zooming in these tunnels and going to the Mini. I think he drives a Mini in that. Crazy. And I look at my dad and I go, is that how fast the milk goes through the homogenizer? He's like, Dad, look at me. That fast. Is that how fast the milk that we make goes through the homogenizer to make goat's cheese? Because I don't understand what you talk to me about when you talk about work, Dad. And I'm trying to bond with you, Dad. I'm trying to make a connection with you, Dad. And I have never been stopped being bullied for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Stupid.
It's amazing the way the mind works, though.
But
you've made a connection.
I've made a connection.
Did he answer the question?
No. This is the thing.
So you still do not know the velocity.
No,
that
it could be slow as hell, for all I know. It was just it was so embarrassing, right? And not in a frustrating way, because they had to pause the movie. They were crying.
Wow.
Yeah, they were. Why would you say that? And
it's a wonderful.
Have love in my heart,
The mix of the terminology used, it's. Yeah. It's kind of sweet and then very serious, and I can see why it would be amusing to the rest. How fast it travels through the
homogenizer.
And what does the homogenizer do?
Well, I would have taken more of an interest in it, Brad, if you had answered the fucking question. Huh? But they just like, I wasn't, they relentlessly bullied me for that. It's like, what a stupid thing to ask and say. And so I remember, it was, so maybe there's less embarrassment about it and more just like the frustration of being like, don't you know what I was trying to do? Bond with you. Is that how fast? Yeah. Would you say 100 miles per hour? How else do you measure speed? I don't know. But I'm here to learn. When I picture that milk being made into cheese, I want to picture Matt Damon just in driving. A mini.
A truck full of milk. Gotta turn it.
Yeah.
Wow. I'll never watch that film again in the same way.
Period.
Because I was thinking, wow, I wonder if that's how fast milk travels fast through the homogenizer. Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Yeah, you gotta homogenize the milk and then you can make it into cheese. But oh my god, I mean, it did not do well. Not a lot of people like to eat goat's cheese, but my dad had a dream of bringing it to the people. The people said no. He would take me around to different agricultural fairs.
Oh wow, to sell
the goat's cheese. And I remember there's this one fair, and I loved it because I got taken out of school and got to spend a day with my dad. But there were times too he'd be like, Kate, I want to check out this other stall, so you'll be fine, right? And I'd just be standing there like eating the samples, like, God, I hope no one comes and talks to me.
I hope they don't ask me how fast the milk travels through the homogenizer.
Because that's something I still don't know. And there's, it was this the Royal Agricultural Fair. Oh, what's it? Is it the RON? That doesn't make sense. That's the Royal Ontario Museum. Anyway, it's some short form. There's a short form of this like 3-day agricultural fair. Super fun.
Yeah.
And I was left alone. Dad wanted to check something out, and this woman comes up, and she's only French speaking.
Wow.
And I had just started learning French in school, so I was feeling pretty good about myself. But I think my dad was there, and he did come back, and she kept trying to talk with him, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I don't know any French. Right. And I said, come here. I said, come here, lady.
Pardon.
I know French. Oui. And then she says whatever she says in French, but like super Quebecois accent. Even when I was more fluent in French, like later on in my life, and had lived in Paris, and Quebecois accent it's just like you gotta get. It's a very different thing. You gotta get your ears open to it. So she says whatever she says, and I'm just like looking at her like, oui. That's the only thing I can say. I was like, I've bitten off way more than I can chew with this. And I think that's another real embarrassing moment of like, being like, yeah, come here. I'm 10 and I can speak French with you. Come on, say what you need to say.
Did she buy any cheese?
No. Because I don't know what she was asking. Not a goddamn clue. I didn't even get a word out of what she was saying. I don't even think fromage was in there.
Wow.
Maybe she was saying, I'm having an insulin spike, please. I need immediate medical help. I'd be like, oui. Bonjour. Au revoir. She sings to the floor.
Is the goat's cheese business still going, just as an aside?
Look, Chris, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say about this. Genuinely, my dad got kicked out of this is like Ontario mob, because where I'm from is also the meth capital of Canada. Okay. So it's like really, and then there's like a lot of belief that I live right near a lot of Mennonites and Amish community.
Okay.
My neighbors growing up, and the young Amish boys, they won't talk to me. They don't even think they're allowed to look at me. And but there's a lot of rumors that they're like very heavily into the drug trade as well, which is very fun. But anyway, on this lesser level, the goat dairy drama of our area was that it was a cooperative. So the other members of the board thought my dad was being like wasn't being hard enough on demanding like better prices, more, more of a profit margin, etc. And my dad didn't. He was like, I know farmers. I am a farmer. Like, you can't be, you have to go with a soft touch. So they voted him out, and he was forced to quit. Yeah.
Oh, believe it.
He was unemployed for like a year or two after.
When I started this podcast, I never thought I'd have such a fascination. But now I want to know more about the goat's cheese community.
I know. Canada. Oh, and the best thing was Mornington. I think they still might exist, but Mornington Dairy, Goat Dairy Cooperative. Years later, I saw them in a shop and they had misspelled their labels. Oh, that lit up our family. Well, we didn't have a group chat back then, but we, look at this, Dad, look how fucking embarrassing they are. Idiots. It was amazing. I think it was just like, I think they spelled the word milk wrong or something stupid, yeah.
Brilliant. Anything to take the heat off the homogenizer, like, isn't this worse than that thing I said? Well, this is great. We're off to a good start with already one kind of humiliating thing that's spread into many tentacles. Let's move forward in life. Let's go to a career. I guess in many ways that was potentially a career moment as well in your young goat cheese making career. But
that I had to abandon out of ostracizement.
Yeah. Wow, ostracizement. What story jumps to mind when you think of something that's happened throughout your career at some point, in whatever walk of life you were currently in?
So I think that there's I got selected for the Jed Mercurio mentorship.
Yes.
In 2023, but it really took place over 2024.
Just for anyone that doesn't know Jed Mercurio, he's the guy that wrote Line of Duty.
Yes.
That's the guy.
Jed Mercurio was just a doctor, and then he saw an ad in the back of a magazine, which happens all the time, and he just became a TV writer. Because he answered a little ad at the back of a magazine. And then he has like 10 of his interests. Yeah. So if you want to write TV, don't study making TV. Just do something else and then use that as a transferable skill to get into it. That's what I've learned. Don't follow your passion. Do something else. And then you'll fall into your passion.
Yes.
And then, so I got selected and they were like, we're going to have this big launch party to start the mentorship. Great. I was paired with the wonderful Vinay Patel. He is so lovely, so nice, so talented. Everyone was paired with someone different.
Okay.
There were 6 of us. Someone else was paired with, Stephen from Paisley.
Stephen.
No. Bigger. Doctor Who.
Moffat.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you. So apologies to Stephen Dick, but you were not part of the mentorship. It was like Jack Thorne, Vinay Patel, Stephen Moffat. Someone got paired with Stephen Moffat.
Great. I mean, even to be chosen, you must have been like, this is...
Well, that was it. I was like, oh my, someone else was paired with Jed Mercurio, and I was
I wonder how many TV shows I'm going to have.
Well... so at this launch, I'm like nervous of like, what is this? What are we going to be doing? I kind of just felt like I had been carried. Like there was a big part of me that I think was feeling still, like imposter syndrome of like, it's been a mistake that I've been selected because I submitted with like a really absurd, comedy, like a sitcom that had a giant bear in it.
Wow.
And this is like the
to mention our sponsor, Don't Feed the Bears. Please go on to don'tfeedthebears.co.uk for your discount exclusive to listeners.
And the sitcom is called Pursued by Bear.
Really?
And it's this person who's like burnt out at work, and the only way she's able to get back to work is she gets a note from a therapist. The therapist is like, you're a mess, but you're willing to do anything. And she's been working on this like project, which is just a giant bear that follows you around. Nice. Kind of like a teddy bear. But it has a mind of its own. And Anyway, it's
How is
weird.
this not being made?
Honestly, Channel 4 thought it was too weird, and then BBC said it's really great, but how about we take out the bear? And I'm like, that's the whole thing. I'm happy to write a workplace sitcom for you, but that's like the main selling point. Is that
What was it called? Was it called Pursued by a Bear?
Yeah.
So yeah. Just
Anyway, I was here. I panic bought a denim hot pink jumpsuit an hour before. Wore that. I never wear it on stage a lot, so it's paid for itself. But I show up to this event, and you don't know anyone, and then you just see these like very famous people chatting, and they're you get a drink, and then you're chatting with I meet the other mentees. They're all so lovely, so amazing, and then you kind of meet a couple people, and then Jed appears, and I'm on, I think. Maybe I've had a Prosecco, maybe I'm on my second glass of wine or something, I don't know. But I have a bowl, they hand out a bowl of Moroccan lamb stew. Tiny, and they're handing out all this food. But Jed kind of locks into conversation with me and two other mentees.
Yeah.
And we're chatting, and I'm just kind of in disbelief, being like, oh my God, I'm talking to Jed Mercurio. This feels like, so otherworldly, and I'm so excited, but the pressure is also on.
Yes.
You're just like, oh my God, what if I say something stupid? Or, and it goes, hey, get that one out of the mentorship. That's what he sounds like. He's from New Jersey. And, and so I was just, you're tense. You're just like, God, I can't say anything. So I'm just holding the stew. I can't touch the stew. I'm just sipping on wine. And these bitches of other mentees, one by one, kind of peel like, oh, I have to go to the washer or the toilet. And they go away. They don't come back. And then the other one kind of, it goes to talk to their mentee. So then it's me and Jed Mercurio locked in a one-on-one. And I shit you not, 45 minutes.
Wow.
Because I'm like, well, I'm not going to end the conversation. Because that feels, why would I do that? Why would I be like, this is actually too much for me. I'm going to fake going to the washroom and then come out and not talk to you again. So I was like, I'm in it until he's going to go. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, the stew getting so cold. I'm letting all this other food pass by me, just drinking. And he's telling me about his divorce. He's telling me, and I'm just like, this is, crazy that you're telling me this, but beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah. And then, because we got into how I do stand up, and we're talking about specific comedians, and he was saying how he prefers North American, like US comedians. Right. And I was like, that is a really bonkers thing to say, because the storytelling here and the exploration of a theme, as well as being so funny and absurd, going to like 10 times the lengths of absurd that anyone from North America really goes, in my opinion. I was like, this is where the best, comedy is. He was like, Bill Burr, and I was like, okay. And this is before the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And we get to this point where I was like, it's so strange how some comedians off stage are not funny at all. Oh, yeah. Like, some are so serious, and it weirds me out, because I just want to have fun and jokes all the time. So when someone's like, won't play with me, I'm like, what the heck? But you play! I know you play! Why are you gonna play with me? I'm also from New Jersey. And we were talking about that, and he goes, yeah, actually, I find the best writers, like the funniest scripts I'll read, you meet them in real life, and the writers are like boring, the least funny person you've ever met in your life. And so, because this was a writing mentorship, I go, oh, well then I hope you don't think I'm funny. And he goes, I don't think you're funny at all. And I go, good. And because, I know he knows what he's doing, but it's also like, Jed Mercurio just said he doesn't think I'm funny, which is honestly fine, but it's not like he's known for comedy. But it was just like that weird moment of where you're just like, oh, I get to say that Jed Mercurio has said he doesn't think I'm funny.
At all. That's a great exchange, though, but terrifying. Because the comedian in you is like...
Yeah. I still don't know. I mean, he said that, but you also like...
Wow.
I mean, the man was going through a divorce, let's not forget.
That is crazy.
He was also very tan. He had been golfing, they said.
What crazy. Even the fact that, I mean, in that mentorship alone, it's a big thing. He was going to be speaking at it. But then to even meet him and speak with him a little bit, considering he would have been, certainly at the time, the TV writer.
Yeah.
And then to have a 40-minute conversation about his divorce, holiday, tan lines, how funny or not you are. That's crazy.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I didn't take a bite of that stew. I set it down. Someone took it away. And then they had stopped serving food by the time we were done talking. And I was like, I'm so hungry.
Yeah.
And also so hurt. But I need to eat my feelings. Because Mercurio doesn't think I'm funny. But maybe that means he does think I'm funny on the page.
Exactly.
But the fact of the matter is what he said, you know.
That's gonna. Yeah.
I could tell he was enjoying it.
I can imagine that's perfect for this. That's something that would pop into my head a lot. What did he mean? What did he say that because of this?
Yeah.
Good luck with that one. That's hard.
Where you're like, I processed because he's saying it because, you know, I think he just knew he just wanted me to, what is it when you're like torturing mice? You know that.
Yeah. He
wanted to see me squirm.
He was playing with you.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Sure. He didn't option my script, I'll tell you that much.
You're just too funny. I guess you've always got a kind of positive outlook either way.
Exactly. I think that's it, is like, it's equally
Every time
bad.
your script gets turned down, you're like, I guess I'm just too goddamn funny. I'm just such a funny comedian.
No, but if they're reading my work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was, I immediately knew, but it is that haunting, always of like, isn't this funny that he said that? But you're like, why was he nice to me? Jed Mercurio.
It was playful.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, you had a really good face at first, and then you scrunched it.
I wasn't there, and I don't know about the tone. You know, I'm sure he was being playful.
Mm-hmm. So you keep messing it up.
I've heard he's a funny guy like that.
Have you?
No. But that's a great story from top to bottom. So if nothing else, now you have a great story for this podcast specifically.
Yes.
So thank you.
And my haters will love it. Kate Hammer isn't funny at all.
Let's move on. From
I thought you were supposed to make me feel better about stuff.
Oh, no
afterwards.
way, no. People just have to come on here and do their own work. It's therapeutic, but you have to put in the work yourself. Let it go. I'm riddled with haunted memories. No, don't come to me for help. It's merely a sharing station.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For the very first, how many did we do, Sean? Maybe 3 or 4 episodes. I did have a plant, and I symbolically got the guest to throw it in the bin. Yeah, we ended that pretty quick, but realised we weren't helping anybody. So let's delve deeper to your tragic past.
I'm trying to remember which tragic memory I did.
Relationships is normally where we go there. So from what sounds like a new relationship with TV writer Jed Mercurio, who spoke quite openly about his divorce.
I was like, is he hitting on me? Because he's giving none of the signs, but my God, could I be swayed? Oh, he's nagging me? That's my favorite thing. Anyway, for relationships.
A relationship one, and again, it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. It can be a relationship with a friend or animal. Just a
Chris,
relationship.
I don't know how much you know about women's bodies.
I don't know how fast the milk travels. Is it as fast as Jason Bourne driving?
That baby would be.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Come on, Brad.
But a lot of people who have a uterus menstruate once a month, right?
A fair tale.
Yeah. And the issue is, I think, when dating someone, and this was years ago, I've come a long way, but this is like 10 years ago, let's say.
Okay.
So I was living in Montreal. I had just started dating someone new, and I was on my period. And they must have stayed over, or they were coming over for an early breakfast or something. I can't remember. But that feels like a really weird date, is to come over early for breakfast. But anyway, so either way, he was there early, and I was making him breakfast, heavily menstruating.
Right.
And this is before I knew and used the Diva Cup, which is, I don't know how much you know about moon cups.
The old moon cups.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah? Take us.
I'm willing to bow to superior.
No, please. When I first bought and I tried to use it, I was like, this ain't working. And then I didn't use it for years. And then someone's like, you got to give it a second try. And then it did. Anyway. So I was, it's going out there. Sometimes you don't know how fast it's coming out.
Okay.
Sometimes drip, drip, drip. Sometimes as fast as the mixture, the homogenizer. Jesus Christ. That's chasing menstrual blood. So I didn't realize what was happening down there. Just having a good time, flirting. Really, really liked this guy. And I sat down, we're chatting, and I was finishing up breakfast. I played it up, and when I turn around, now the kitchen chairs were my flatmates at the time, and they were white velvet chairs.
Oh no.
For the kitchen. Who does that? Who does that? No. White velvet? For the kitchen? In this economy?
Oh no, Sean's gone already.
In this placement in my menstrual cycle? And so I stand up and I catch out of the corner of my eye on this white velvet chair. In the middle is just this massive blood stain. When I sat down, must have squished it. I was like, I'm kind of getting off on making you guys so uncomfortable. Really, please.
This is so different from the last episode. I love it. Please continue with the squishing
out, and I panicked.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if he had seen it. Right? So he's on the other side of the table, and I was like, there's a chance he hasn't seen. And again, at where I am now, if that happened, I'd be like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's Jason Bourne. And, and I'd be like, look. I'd say, look, isn't this funny? But back then I was so... I think a lot of people who menstruate are made to feel really embarrassed and uncomfortable about their period cycle and everything. So I freaked out. And... so suavely, took the chair into my room. I just said, excuse me for a moment. And I picked up the chair away from him, and I walked it into my room. And then I called my friend. This is like the only time my life was like really a sitcom where I was just like, Lauren, what's happening? And because I was like, what do I do? I've now taken the chair into my room. That's weird. That's maybe weirder than what happened originally, which was making a beautiful painting out of a white velvet seat. So I was freaking out, obviously had to address what was going on and yelled downstairs, or the bush, as you guys call it. I call it a small forest. And
there's a couple of deer legs in there.
And I think I had to then go to the kitchen, grab a wet cloth, and just try and it did come out like it was, fine. I think with one of those, like with padding, it must have just pushed down into it. But you're getting out of the top layer, which is the important part, So it was like, okay, that is like fixable. It's fine.
Yeah.
This taken care of, dignity obliterated. Mm-hmm. How do I come back from this? So I go back into the kitchen. I don't say a thing. He doesn't say a thing. We eat we're talking other stuff. We ate our breakfast. It's great. I continued to date this guy for like ages.
Great.
So then 6 months, 8 months into the relationship, I like looked at him and I was like, do you know, like, one of our first dates, you came over and I like exploded onto the white chair. And I was so embarrassed and like, didn't you like find it weird that I took the chair? And he's like, oh, I saw the blood. Yeah, immediately. Immediately when he stood up, I was like, oh God, there's a lot of blood on that chair now. And I was like, why wouldn't you say something? He's like, I don't know, like I don't embarrass you. And there's just two people who knew exactly what was going on, but one who thought she could be like, I just gotta take this chair into my room real quick.
Yeah. It's quite a sweet story in many ways as well, though.
I think it is.
You know? Because he had, I mean, I guess he could have been like, oh yeah, I did see it. Hey, listen, don't worry, it's cool. But then it was also quite nice that if he felt there was a lot of kind of embarrassment and shame, and like, he was just like, I'm just going to let her do it. If she wants to drag a chair into a bedroom right now, I'm just going to pretend it's cool. If
she old soggy pants over there.
If she's going to try and pretend like I can't see that there's blood everywhere, then I'll let her believe that illusion.
She thinks I can't tell. These yoga pants, I look like a anyway. So, yeah, because earlier I dated someone, and I think, had maybe on the bed sheets a bit of something, and he had asked about it, and I freaked out. Yeah. He was like, oh no, I just wanted to make sure that it was that, and not like I'm bleeding at night unknowingly. And I was like, okay, but he had a sister.
Right.
And I think that's a really big difference, or it makes, yeah. And I think this person in Montreal did not have a sister, so I think there might have been like, he's like, it's fine, but I don't know how to handle this,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, not at the time. That was like one of the few times where I was like, I truly, there's no way out.
Yeah.
There's no way out.
It's the visual of you dragging a chair out is quite, I mean, it's amusing, but I feel for you.
Yeah.
I really
clunked it and just dragged it sadly.
Do you remember what you were having for breakfast?
Oh, definitely scrambled eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I love eggs. I had 2 eggs for breakfast this morning, but they are pickled. I pickled them myself.
I pickled them myself. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not good.
I know you've not got time, but I'll keep offering them pickled eggs for breakfast, and people go, "That's weird." I'm like, I'm eating them at like 12.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Kate Hammer.
Chris Forbes.
What an absolute delight. Thank you for sharing your dead flowers with us. Where can we see you coming up? What's going on? I believe that this is coming out right now. It's probably November.
Correct.
Which Christmas plans? Have you got a Glasgow Comedy Festival show in the new year?
If you want to come see any of my shows after hearing this.
If you want to see me pissing myself live, standing up. This does sound like a kind of fringe show that someone
pissing
would do.
Myself live,
yeah. Like, come see me rocking in a chair for an hour and they do that type of thing.
Yeah. I have an amazing panel show on December 7th here at the Stand called The Very Important Panel Show. That's from 4 to 6 on December 7th. Chaotic fun, amazing. I'm hosting that. Lots of shows. Filmmaker Kate the Hammer for all the shows. I am doing a Glasgow Comedy Festival at some point in May. It's booked. I don't know.
Probably be in March.
Oh.
If you're doing it in May, then I'm going to get you back in this podcast to talk about an embarrassing story. If you're doing a Glasgow Comedy Festival show in a month, then it's not on.
Yeah, it's in March. I think it all makes more sense now. Once you get to know me, you're like, yeah. Wow. I don't know if I was dropped as a baby or just kicked by a goat.
Thank you, Kate Hammer. Please do follow Caitlin. Like, you can find her. You're doing lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Go and support her. Big thanks, as always, to the Glasgow Stand Comedy Club where we film. Big thanks to Sean Stables, Chris Thorburn, and a huge thanks still to our guest sponsor, Don't Feed the Bears. Remember, if you're a listener to this show, you can get an exclusive discount, 10% off of anything from their website, just by going onto the website and applying the discount code DEAD10. That's DEAD10. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next time.